You don't know what's out there.
That's why I would go.
Hi, and welcome back to Wild Dream, where we give you the freshest takes on the latest movies. My name is David.
And my name is Daniel.
And
welcome to the podcast.
on this episode, we are talking about a movie.
A film, if you will.
This movie is recently come out.
It has recently come out.
I think we're good. That's actually, can we just stop for today?
Yeah, well, so are we hopping out of character here?
Anyways, so we are back with the first horror movie of the year for the pod.
I believe so.
Yeah. If you are not familiar with our experience with horror movies, you can go back to our previous Spooktaculars. We have discussed horror movies in depth. We have done entire series in which we only watch horror movies, and we have talked about our top 5, bottom 5 favorite horror movies. So
a list that has changed quite a bit for me since recording that episode.
I bet mine would too. I don't even remember some of the movies on my list, but yeah, we've seen some of the best horror movies and talked about them.
Your top 5? I remember it. It was Truth or Dare. I can't even do
it. It was Truth or Dare.
It was Truth or Dare.
Would You Rather?
Escape Room was on there. Do you remember that?
Escape Room, yes. I do. That's actually where I was going next. Escape Room. Hide and Seek. Most likely Hide and Seek 2 coming out.
Hey.
Definitely my favorite movie of the year already. Yeah. Ready or Not is the name of that movie, not Hide and Seek. It's about hide and seek, but Ready or Not.
Ready or Not, which you're not, because you didn't know the name of it.
Lanterns Lake. That's the movie I told you about on Hulu, where they do like 10 shots and then go get beer and then drive.
Yeah.
Completely sober. I don't drink alcohol. I had to stop the movie to text my brother and say, hey, if a group of people took 6 to 8 shots each of just anything, I don't know,
general alcohol,
white clear liquid,
yeah, would
they be drunk? And Daniel said they'd be dead.
6 shots to the dome.
Yeah, I was like, okay, good to know.
It's funny.
Anyways, those are not actually my top 5 movies. You can go back and listen to those. I think I like to bring that up because you never know who's listening new, or you never know who's unfamiliar with the pod. Even if they just started recently, and they only want to watch for recent movies, or listen for recent movies, I should say. Yeah, go back and listen to some of those older episodes, because even if you are only interested in recent movies or movies that just came out, or movies that you've seen, we have some episodes from those Spooktaculars just talking about horror movies in general.
Yeah. Those are always fun to record and fun to go back and listen to. We like a little bottle episode. They're always fun.
And this is both the first horror movie that we're seeing for the pod this year, but also the most anticipated horror movie of the year for me, because I have seen so much about this movie. We just watched Undertone.
I hardly know her tone. Come on, brother. Put it there, brother. Yeah, dude. You get it? Mm-hmm. Do you get it? Mm-hmm. I was thinking that during the movie. I think
the second one should be called Tone, and the third one will be called Overtone.
Overtone.
Undertone. Over.
Hell yeah.
Through tone. So you can go
around tone.
Around tone.
Around tone.
This is a series. This is a series, guys.
This is a series. I mean,
we're available for consultation.
I was about to say it. Yeah, this is a pretty hyped up movie. This is
everything I've seen. Best horror movie of the year, scariest movie.
So like all of 2025, I was hearing about this movie, and maybe even at the end of 2024. I swear it's been forever, because apparently this movie has been seen by everyone overseas way before the U.S. Then there's I don't know if there's a bidding war, but it's definitely being shopped for distribution in the U.S. And after all this time, when all the people overseas and European countries and stuff have already seen the movie, it finally gets announced that A24 has secured the rights to distribute this movie. So that is a tastemaker's good news. It's A24.
Yeah.
Yes, quality. So it might be pretty good. But so you hear, the thing that I heard the most about this throughout 2025 was this is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. They didn't really talk much about it's really good too, or, they just said, this is a genuinely terrifying movie. It's frightening. And then the U.S., once it gets picked up, it's announced, okay, it's going to have a 2026 release. It's going to be A24. Then the kind of U.S. media that I start to see is like, oh, this is like, it's really weird. It's all about sound. They market it around the creativity of a different type of horror. It's not scary, seeing scary stuff. It's very auditory.
Yeah, it's the tagline that we've seen a 1,000 times is, this is the scariest movie you'll ever hear. Mm-hmm. Because the movie is about a person who is making a podcast. They make a horror-based podcast. When they are anonymously sent a bunch of audio files, a bunch of bad shit starts to happen. So it's like, we knew kind of what the movie was going to be about. It's like kind of a ghost movie, but it's, it's based on this podcast, based on this audio. And yeah, I mean, I feel like in terms of what was advertised to me, I got. Now I will say, you and I are very desensitized. We watch a bunch of horror movies. You play horror video games every single week. I watch you play horror video games every single week. I've played a couple myself. But we've seen every horror movie, every horror TV show, it feels like, and so yeah, we're very desensitized people. We're not people who really get scared by horror movies, which is why you and I really like a horror movie that also has a good story, and that has really drama, a lot of drama and acting and, just like more than just jump scares and scary monster.
Yeah. Yeah. See our Bring Her Back episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much we loved that movie was so phenomenal for us. And then also see our It Lives Inside episode.
For a different
reason. Yeah. So I say all that to say this, okay? I actually did think this movie was scary at times. When I hear someone say scariest movie of the year, one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, my brain goes, whatever. Bullshit. Like, my brain is like, I might be a little bit scared. Mm-hmm. So I won't allow myself to judge a movie, especially a horror movie, based on how much it affected other people. You know what I'm saying? Because I know myself, and I know that I worked at a haunted house for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I have seen, I've been desensitized to everything, Yeah. I don't even get scared by haunted houses anymore because of that. So it is something that is very difficult to do, is to actually get us. Now, of course, the horror video games are a little bit different, a little bit more immersive, a little bit, so if you go, you're like, wait, Daniel gets got all the time. He fucking screams. It's okay. Well, it's a little bit different, of a genre. And also, do we play it up a little bit for the stream? I'll never tell.
We've never actually been scared ever. Yeah, I think that I see what you're saying. You have a different relationship to fear and what can really elicit that out of different types of media. And I think too, it's like both of us right now. I'm curious, like if I told you to play a horror game, because I feel like you're more sensitive to horror video games than I am.
Yeah.
So, but I think we're both same on if I told you to play a VR horror game right now. Does that not sound fucking terrifying? I'm like actually kind of scared to play VR horror.
I mean, I wouldn't be gung-ho about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I do think there's levels to the shit.
Yeah, there's so many different types of art form to be. And you kind of talked, as we were walking out of the theater, you were talking about the idea of the certain kind of fear of going down a rabbit hole of like Reddit threads.
Yeah,
terrifying photos with backstories.
I think that this movie reminds me of that. It's one of the things that we talked about because, obviously in spoiler talk, we'll give like a lot more detail in terms of like what we really liked about the movie versus what we didn't like about the movie. It's not a sensational best horror movie of the year automatic, being the first one. But I will say they said, hey, there's going to be a lot of horror and a lot of audio-based horror, and I think that they did do that well. But in terms of the story, it just reminds me of like other forms of horror and other forms of being scared other than going to watch a scary movie.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like sometimes I'll go on like Reddit and I'll like, go to one of those threads where, on r/ask Reddit, someone says like, what's the scariest photo in the world? Like, what's the scariest photo you've ever seen? And like every answer will be like this photo, and you look at it and it's like just a picture of a woman with a dude in the background. And it's like, and you read the comments, like the dude in the background killed the woman later, like whatever, or like that one where, and again, a lot of it's like true crime based, right? So it's like the one where you open it up and it's just this really tiny room and like a 2 feet long, shower. It's like, what is this weird thing? And you go read the comments, like a man kept, his daughter in this basement for like 13 years while he abused her. And it's like, oh shit, like that's how tiny this room was, whatever.
Yeah. And now that photo has like a haunted element to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you see stuff like that, or you go on r/oddly terrifying, or if you listen to like real life 911 operator calls, like those can be like really, really scary and really like you're and not like, scary, more of like your heart starts to drop and you start to feel queasy in your stomach. You feel really creeped out. I think being creeped out is like a whole nother form of being scared. Mm-hmm. And I think that is more attainable than just a straight scared, like, oh, I'm scared, Cause like when I think of like being scared, I'm like, when I think of being scared, I think I'm going to have trouble going to sleep tonight because I'm going to be thinking about that scary thing.
Yeah.
And I think I haven't really felt like that since I was a kid. I haven't really felt like that since I was like watching, Child's Play as a kid and was terrified of Chucky, or since like, like watching slasher movies and stuff like that and just being terrified by that kind of a horror. But this movie did creep me out, and I think that they did a really good job of, like, I remember I told Daniel, I said, if this was not a movie, but an episode of the No Sleep podcast, it'd be the best episode they've ever had. And that episode that shows, decades worth of horror stories.
I think that's worth mentioning is another form of content that you consume. I know that you listen to horror podcasts.
Yeah, like narrative horror podcasts.
Like No Sleep. So, and I listen to true crime, Mr. Ballin, which is definitely in the horror realm. So it's like, we
Nexpo. We watch a lot of Nexpo.
Yeah, as Nexpo well. and Nick Crowley and all like. So there's so many different forms of media that we consume. I remember being really obsessed when I was like 5th, 6th grade. I was really obsessed with these like YouTube compilations of real life ghost pictures and shit. Yeah, like shit, which some of them ended up just being jump scares. Trolling. Like the Maze game type of jump scare, back in the day when that was popular. And I would also, it wasn't even just YouTube compilations. It was for anyone who's unk like me who remembers Funny Junk, like they had like a little section that was some horror stuff. And a lot of them were jump scares and all that, spot the differences between the two pictures type bullshit.
Junk, yeah. I remember.
It was Pepperidge Farm remembers. Funny joke.
Remembers. So who remembers that joke from Family Guy, the Pepperidge Farm remembers joke?
I used to like, honestly, that's meta. That's funny. But yeah, I just really liked, so something like this really does tickle a certain thing in my brain that clicks with me. And clearly it did for you too. And it is very creative. I think that we need movies like this to take a different angle at horror. And that's why I'm excited to talk about specific things that they did in this movie that I'm like, I mean, no one's doing this. Like, this is so cool. And I will say too, like, this is when we're talking about movies that genuinely creep you out, like the last couple of movies that really did it for me are the ones that they're the reason why my most anticipated horror movie of this year is Hokum, which is the last couple of movies that genuinely scared me or creeped me out, to the point of the movie's over and I'm kind of looking in the corner of my room like, oh shit, were the Damien McCarthy movies, so Oddity and Caveat. And so it is a specific type of horror that this also does, where it is a little bit more subdued and subtle. I say that lightly because there's some stuff that's not subtle in this movie, but like there is a different way of presenting that. It's not what you're used to in horror. And
it's very creepypasta coded. Yeah. It's very, it's like, and it's because the movie is about this other element of horror. It's about a horror podcast, so it is a movie that creeped me out and like actually like made me feel scared at certain times. Like I said, it's not a perfect movie by any means. Mm-hmm. I definitely think that, again, like you said, the discourse around it was more about its uniqueness and its scary elements and not so much the quality of the movie. And after watching it, I understand why that's not a focal point, because you don't want to take anything away from this movie that did something really creative and did actually have a lot of good creepy stuff and did a lot of really good horror things and things that we ask for and look for and want to see more. And I know I sound like I'm saying whore instead of horror. Just get over it. Okay? I'm not going to slow down for you guys. Scary. So yeah, it is at the same time, while it does do that and it does really creative things with the audio, as you would expect based on the promotions of this movie and what other people have been saying about it, before it came out. You do get that. However, there are a lot of faults with this movie. There are a lot of things that they did wrong, right? Then there are, I think, over 5 cuts to black. I hated that. I don't like cuts to black. I still haven't seen Sentimental Value. Daniel has warned me. I know it's nominated for Best Picture.
Way more than this movie. Yeah.
And it's more than 5, I'm being told.
Yes.
I hate that. I don't like that. It's a cop-out. It's a bad transition. It's not good. I don't like it. It reeks of student film. Student filmmaker made their first film. I'm just like, you haven't learned yet how to transition scenes from one to other, so you just cut to black. Which also means you haven't written enough transition. You haven't written enough in the script for the story to progress without you cutting to black, and then it's the next day. Like, it's a cop-out.
Which this could be, and sometimes that kind of stuff, in terms like this could be a newer filmmaker who is in that kind of era of...
I got that vibe throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things...
But that's like endearing to me. Like, I know you're like, I fucking hate this, and I'm like, it's kind of endearing to me in a weird way. Like, I kind of like it. It gets me excited. I guess I see it as like, oh my God, I can't wait till this person starts to really find their voice. Kind of like, dude, remember when we reviewed the Talk to Me, and we were just like... I think we both gave it somewhere around a 5, 5.5, whatever. And we were like, I mean, God, there's so much potential here. I cannot wait to see these guys next movie.
Yeah. And it was Weapons.
And then it was...
it was Bring Her Back.
And then it ends up being Bring Her Back, which is now my second favorite horror movie of all time. And it's like, that is... I feel that with this movie. I don't know if that's like a spoiler of my review, but I feel...
I feel that too. And I definitely agree. The cut to black is something that bothers me for sure. But the other elements of it that felt like a student film, like I was forgiving the movie for all of that, because like for that exact reason, because I'm like, yeah, maybe they are newer. I don't know.
And it's clearly low budget.
It's very clear. Yeah. I'm like, it's clearly low budget. It's clearly like, there are some things that just, I'm I'm like, what? This is like, I made these mistakes when I was in film school, and I like had to coach myself away from it, and learn and grow. So it's like that. I can see that stuff. Not that it's necessarily bad, because at the end of the day, the other thought that I have with this is a movie I would be so proud of if I made this movie.
Yeah.
I'd be so fucking proud of this.
Same.
And one of the biggest things that I always tell people, I say, I am a very, very big, if the script is bad, the movie's bad. It doesn't matter. Everything else can be fucking phenomenal. We just talked about The Bride last week, having a performance from Jessie Buckley that was a 10 out of 10 performance with this incredible, actress, and the movie sucked fucking dick. And, it's another thing because the script is bad, and me and Daniel have been kind of going through our catch-up list. We talked about it on the pod a few weeks ago, and I recently watched Train Dreams on Netflix. And this movie's nominated for Best Picture. And I remember I told Daniel, I said my review of it was a 3 out of 10 movie with a 10 out of 10 cinematography. And again, that is a movie with really good acting and really good cinematography and just incredible scenery and lighting and just like all this stuff. And I'm like, don't care. The script was bad. The script was boring. Like, the story you're telling is not a compelling story. That's how I feel about movies. And I've been very, brutal with it in the past.
Yeah.
This is a movie that's very opposite of those examples. I think that this script is really good. I think this concept, this idea was really good. Like, they nailed this. Like, everything about the podcast and the audio files that they end up listening to and how they correlate to the main character's personal struggles and her childhood and like all these things. I thought they did a really good job of all these little subtle hints and like foreshadowings and, and also just the structure of the story was like, I told Dan, I said, if I was watching this at home, I wouldn't have even gotten close to turning it off. Like, there are moments in the movie where I'm like, this might be one of the worst acting performances I've seen since the pod started. There was some really, really bad acting in this movie. There were some really, really bad performances, bad lines, bad scenes. And I didn't even care because the story was so good. I was like, I have to know what happens next. Like, I'm so invested in these files, in the progression of the story as they start to unfold it and unfurl it. And so I was like, yeah, it's a really good script. You know, now there are some things we would change about the script for sure. And we'll get to that in spoiler talk.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's just like the story is unique. The story is compelling. Like, it did remind me of like a creepypasta type of thing that would have gone viral. If this was a YouTube video, this would have blown up fucking everywhere. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like even, you know, like PT like kind of blew up for that same reason. You know, PT had like a little story that they kind of told you throughout the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And me and Dale talk about this for horror video games too. It's like, well, yeah, you have jump scare simulators and then you have actual games.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing through Ludo right now, which is not only a good representation of, oh, it's not just a jump scare simulator. It's a unbelievably complex, interweaving emotional story that also has horror elements. But it also, my most recent playthrough, Ludo Part 3, up on YouTube right now, or will be when this comes out.
Wild Dream Stream on YouTube.
During that playthrough, there's this big sequence where there are radios in the distance that you can see blinking red. And you get close to the radio and it starts going from like a broadcast kind of sound to a woman going, and starts screaming to the point of such unnerve that it just sent shivers down my spine. So that's an auditory scare.
Right.
And that's exactly what is clicking in this movie is that idea. So the idea of doing that for a film and making that the centerpiece is so smart and it's creative. But I think too what this movie did well, because of the fact that I didn't realize this until kind of just now, honestly, which makes this a huge positive, is that, oh yeah, this movie takes place in one single location the entire runtime.
Yep.
The whole entire movie.
2 different places. 1 in the house. 2 in my mind.
In my mind.
Yeah,
it takes place in one single house, and it's like the Saw thing that you talk about with film school and writing for a budget. And,
they always, when you go to film school, one of the first things they want to teach you is how to write a film with a minimal to like ideally one location. You know, because when you're first starting out writing, if you can write movies that people think they can do low budget, they're more likely to pick up your script because they think they can film it low budget. And this is a perfect example of that. And I'm glad that you brought that up because it was another thing that was like, okay, well, you are not relying on cinematography, scenery, and whatever for this movie. You are relying on your story. You have to tell a good story because this whole fucking movie takes place in one location and 80% of the movie is just audio. And it's like, okay, how do you creep me out when all you're doing is audio? Well, first of all, that audio better be fucking good. It better be really
crisp.
But then they also have all of these different shots that they have throughout the movie that just make you uncomfortable. They are shots where they don't follow the rules of cinematography. They don't follow the rule of thirds. They don't follow, like the cutoffs. Like there's like this thing about, when you're shooting someone, you have like mediums, your close-ups, your, medium twos, you're establishing whatever. And in portrait photography, they're always taught about the natural cutoffs for a person. So you have like their hips and then their wrist and then their chest line and then their neckline. And you don't want to have like, like just past the elbow cutting off in the middle of the forearm. Like you don't ever want to do a portrait that looks like that because that's not a natural cutoff for our brain. So it's an uncomfortable looking frame. Mm-hmm. They did that in this movie, and I think they did it on purpose. They literally put the character in an awkward frame, not following the rule of thirds, and where the majority of the scene is out of focus and all this stuff. And it worked. It really worked.
Yeah.
To create this creepy, like lonely atmosphere, like as if you were sitting at home with your headphones on watching a scary video on YouTube, and you get more creeped out, not because the thing is extra creepy, but because your setting is extra creepy. Like I feel like everyone's done that at some point. Like you creep yourself out on accident because you're just on your headphones, just on your phone, and you realize, oh, everything around me is pitch black except for this fucking phone lighting up my screen, whatever. And you're watching something scary or doing something scary, and it's like, well, I'm a fucking idiot because now I'm scared. It's like that's the vibe they're creating with this movie. I think they did it really well.
Yeah, I think some of the scariest, or maybe even maybe not the scariest, but some of the most unsettling, heart-racing moments in this movie are very innocuous. And they're like, it is the framing. It is the way that they use negative space in the frame to make you feel like you have to be on edge and always looking in the background at specific areas that they're clearly trying to unsettle you with. And it's from the get-go with this movie. And it really worked. It really worked for me. And especially with combining that with the audio, this isolated noise canceling effect that they do, that they're clearly very proud of because they do it like 100 times.
I know. The way they did it, I didn't like.
Yeah.
I didn't like that they had to add in this fake sound before it.
Yeah.
That thing.
Exactly.
I think it would have been really cool to just have the place be noisy with noises that our brain would ignore until it's dead silent. Like if you had,
I agree. I think that would be way better.
Yeah. Like if you had, instead of doing a, and now it's silent. If you didn't do this fake bullshit atmosphere and you just had like birds, outside, maybe you can hear a little bit of like a car rumbling or, like a garbage truck coming by. You have the clock ticking in the thing, or, you have water running with something like that, where it's just noises that are just genuinely occurring, even, the sound of an AC or something like that. And then she puts the headphones on and I think it would have worked better.
I agree. That's definitely one of the faults, and I in our stars even. But that's so fucking stupid. There's something wrong with me, man. I need to see a medical professional seriously ASAP. I thought about it during the movie a little bit, like, man, this is Nosferatu all over again. We get the swell and like, come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they overdo it.
Yeah, but it is really cool.
It is a cool effect, and it adds to the immersiveness of the movie for sure.
Yes, yeah.
And it sounds like a podcast. And it sounds like this.
It does. It's really, really cool. And shout out to my old buddy JC. Who I used to make films with, because I remember going to one of his premieres, I think in college, and he did a bunch of fun audio stuff with his movie. He had a whole scene of someone, like the whole film was about the idea of someone's consciousness being active while their body's taken away. And so there's a whole scene where they start to sever certain nerves in the ears, and in the theater, like the audio channels were going out on the right side when the right ear nerve gets cut off. And it was so cool. It was very, very immersive. And so shout out to JC for being way ahead of the game on that, but also, and like he was with a lot of shit, but it's like, I've always appreciated creativity with stuff like that. And the cool little noise cancellation was cool in this movie. And you're right that it puts itself in a great position.
Clip that, chat. Daniel saying, and you were right.
Just playing it over and over every day.
And you're right. And
you know what? I am right.
And you were right. And you were right.
I pray.
It's gonna be my lizard button.
Pray for you. I'll pray for you. It puts it's such a good effect to isolate the audience watching this and making them feel like they are locked into this scary shit that they're looking at and figuring out. And yeah, so the idea of this isolated thing of being really sucked into this creepy, what is going on type of situation that the character's in. But as the audience, you get to both channel that and realize that there's a whole bunch of negative space behind her that you expect something to emerge from. And it's so unsettling.
And so very rarely does something actually happen, but then it's but not so infrequently that you stop caring.
Yeah.
It happens just enough where you go, no, I do have to pay attention. Fuck.
Exactly.
If it was like, like we say, like it lives inside was a great example of like every time they pushed into something or had something in the lower left frame, you know, whatever, nothing ever happened. It was just nothing, to the point where you go, I don't give a fuck what kind of suspense you're trying to build anymore.
Yeah.
But this movie, like, just right when I was starting to get at, I don't care anymore, then something fucking moves in the background, then something, you know, whatever. And it's very subtle. I actually miss like 2 different things in this movie that Daniel caught. Now, with all of that positivity, you know, some of the negativity, like I said, the acting is very, very poor for the majority of the movie. Some of the shots and like movement of the shots and things like that are like, they remind me of student film too, just in terms of like, I'm trying to do a shot like this guy. And I'm like, okay, well, that guy, you know, whoever it is, whether Wes Anderson or David Fincher or, you know, whoever it is you're trying to emulate, they have a whole style and they do that throughout their entire movie. You can't just do this in one shot and then not do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get you wanting to make something more creative with this shot and not just have a regular establishing. That's fine. But, you know, be consistent, you know, with your filmmaking and your style. Which I feel like the movie got better with that as it went on, for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed a couple of shots in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with the thing that they do most often is the rotating camera.
Yeah.
And some work better than others in the movie, but there were some that the high was so high that I was like, hell yeah, I'm glad they did this. This is cool. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's also just some stuff in the movie where they're like, I don't know, I guess telling us that we should be scared instead of making us scared.
Oh, yeah.
So some kind of like kind of smile type of stuff, and we'll get into that in spoiler talk, like to give context, but without context and without spoiling, they show a lot of imagery of just old paintings, like old drawings from, like something you would see in church of like Mother Mary, and like with her prayer hands. It's like these old, like Leonardo da Vinci type paintings.
Yeah. Religious symbol imagery is a part of it. Yeah. And like you said, some of this like more Renaissance Victorian stuff where it's, like you said, the movie implies this is scary. This is supposed to be scary, and it just doesn't work, unfortunately. At least not to me.
And it's like smile. It's like, yeah, if you're afraid of people smiling, then you're going to be scared by smile. If you're afraid of old paintings, then you'll be scared by these old paintings. But otherwise, it's just an old painting that you're zooming in on a lot.
Right. My last, like, for me, the last spoiler-free sell that I can give you for this movie is, I swear to God, even if you are like, I don't know, I disagree, this movie was mid or whatever, I promise you the last like 10 minutes of this movie are worth the price of admission. I really do feel that way. 100%. I think that final scene, the way that this movie ends, is worth the price of admission. It was very, very cool, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. There are some cheap jump scares too. I'm not going to get out of spoiler free without acknowledging that. We bitch about that for every other movie that does it. I knew it was going to happen in this movie, but yes, of course. There are, and again, here's a cliche, a horror movie cliche that I want to be gone. Okay. I think this is ass. Screaming teapot.
Yeah.
Screaming teapot needs to stop.
I agree.
It's such a fucking, like, just overused cliche bullshit thing. That just every movie that's like, you want to add tension, add a screaming teapot in the background. You want to add stress, add a screaming teapot. You want to add horror, add a screaming teapot. Ooh, just out of nowhere, teapot, screaming. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, well, unless your character drinks fucking tea all goddamn day, this bitch brews tea like 3 times and never drinks tea once.
Though, is that a spoiler?
Yes. I actually have to cut that. I'm going to bleep it. I'm going to bleep it just so people can hear me going, yes.
That's funny. Well, no, you're right. But another trope, since we're talking about tropes that are in this movie, they somehow found a trope that I also want to get rid of completely. Is they found an auditory version of this trope, which is found footage movies where the camera glitches.
Yep.
They do that with this. It's like they're just on a call, and all of a sudden it's like the loudest audio you've ever heard. And it's like, like feedback almost. It's like, oh shit, sorry about that. I guess, I don't know, internet connection. It's like, that has never happened ever. That has never happened ever.
It literally sounds, like when you hold a mic up to the monitors on the stage and just goes, yeah, it's like,
I'm like, this is bullshit.
This is stupid.
This is cheap bullshit.
So yeah, they do that quite a bit. Just loud audio thing is the scare. Not so much that it's like that's their crutch. That's what they're rating on. It's not egregious at all, but it exists. And when they do it, it's bad.
And it's dumb. So get rid of that. Get rid of the camera glitching bullshit that never actually happens.
It's never good. They even do it with the audio files. Like, the audio files corrupt you.
Yeah, which made no...
Anyways, I'm excited to talk about this movie more. So let's go ahead and get into spoiler talk.
Yes.
Hi, and welcome back to Dream Wild, where we give you the spookiest takes on the latest spooks. On this week's episode, we talk about the death of the main character in this movie, and how they die at the end. Oh.
Ba ba black sheep, ba ba black sheep, ba 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 ba. Wham, ba black Betty, wham, balance, whoa, black Betty, wham, balance. Jason Derulo.
Chat, did you hear the wind coming through just now? Spoiler alert. All right, let's get back into character, Dan.
It would be really funny to the idea of if you play this Jason Derulo song backwards.
A pop song?
yeah, that's funny.
It's never like that. It's never
ever
Justin Bieber.
Exactly. It's never like, dude, no, if you play Missy Elliott's, it's like, no, of course not.
Dan, do you want to do the rundown since you did such a good rundown last week?
I can try. I was listening back to the episode. I was like, I don't know if I did very good. It's really hard.
It's funny because we mention it. I literally tell people, I go, Daniel's rundown was really good in this episode. In The Bride, because you bring it up, you go, I know this sounds like a long-winded rundown, but this movie's long as fuck, and it had way too much shit in it.
Yeah. I'll give it a go. We are...
What's up?
We are introduced to our main character who...
Rundown, Dan. Let's go quicker.
Scary... I got it, for real. Scary shit happens.
Quicker!
Boom! My rundown, boom! No, we are introduced to our main character whose mother is extremely sick and is in hospice care.
At-home hospice.
And she also, this main character, does a podcast with her friend Justin. It's a horror podcast where they go over different things each week. And this week it is about some anonymous audio clips that Justin received and that he's going to play on air, and they're going to go over. They go over a couple of these clips, and eventually she's like, look, I can't handle this. I need to take a break, because her mental state is starting to slip from how much she's dealing with her real life, and this is starting to creep her out a little bit, but she has a very tough exterior where she doesn't actually believe in this thing. She believes in reason and logic. She's a Ben Shapiro fan. Lib gets owned by logic and reason.
These libs get owned by the literal devil.
She puts on a very tough exterior. But she has to take a break. She then goes and starts to help her mom a little bit, but gets some bad news that her mom is very, very close to reaching a point where her nutrition is so bad because she hasn't eaten in multiple days in a row that she is close to being fully on the brink of death and is about to die. And she's even told that there is a specific way of breathing that they call the death rattle, where she starts to hear it. That's how she knows it is time, and it is her time for her mother to pass. Now, additionally, it is revealed that she has a boyfriend who is a piece of shit, doesn't even give a fuck about her in any kind of way, and she is kind of holding on to that relationship, knowing it's not good for her, but finds out that she is pregnant with this person's child. Pregante. So...
How do you know if you pregante?
How pregnant? Am I pregnant?
Am I pregnant?
Am I pregnant? That's funny. What is that from?
It's the guy who's reading questions from Quora, and he's reading all the people who've asked... Am I pregnant? How to know if you're pregnant? But they spell pregnant wrong every time.
Gotcha.
So he's like, I don't
know why I thought it was from a TV show.
How do you know if you pregnante? Am I pregnant? 6 weeks pregnant. How do I stop being pregnant?
So she is struggling with this idea of, do I keep this kid or do I not keep this kid? Is he the right person to be the father to this kid? Am I ready to be a mother to this kid? So there's a lot happening to this character at once, and it's very suffocating, and it's causing her to lose some sleep. And so her mind keeps getting further and further deteriorated. And eventually they keep doing these different audio clips in installments. So we as the audience keep hearing more, and it gets crazier and crazier, because what is happening in these audio clips is a couple named Jess and Mike are going through these sessions of Jess talking in her sleep. And they're finding a bunch of things within these audio clips that is unable to be explained, like faucets turning on by themselves, Jess talking and singing in her sleep, and then they play some of the audio of the songs that she's singing in reverse, and it's coming out with different messages. And so it's very internet coded. It is. It's like you're looking more and more into this, and it's creeping everyone out even more the more you find out. And so all of this is coming to a point where she's starting to see and hear things in these audio clips that is reflective of what's happening in her actual life. And it's starting to freak her out, especially while she's worrying about becoming a mother.
So they start tying in what they hear on these audio recordings to some of the darker messages behind children's nursery rhymes. So because they are hearing this in the audio recordings, and how if you play them or listen to them backwards, it's like demon messages or whatever. And the actual meaning of the song is darker than you think it is, which is true for a lot of, children's nursery rhymes and stuff in general. Main character is still listening to these files, and she's trying to hear these messages that are being, her co-host is like, you didn't hear that? You didn't hear that? First of all, shitty co-host. Shitty co-host, because we're in the rundown. You know what? Tell me to do that. Anyways, so she's doing that, but she's also listening to these nursery rhymes and trying to get these messages from them. And she's getting all these messages about a specific demon. And the demon's name is
Abizu. Abizu.
Okay, we have a note on that too.
We do have a note on that. And I will remember that.
Okay, so Abizu. And as they continue to listen to these recordings, this theme keeps coming up, where there is a demon that people have referred to as a demon that kills unborn children in the womb, and also convinces mothers to kill their children. And there's stories about them and whatever. And they think that these audio files are related to that. They realize that the email address it came from no longer exists, but it was, come in Abizu, backwards or whatever, is how was what their email address was that sent them the files. And then so that as they're learning more about this, it starts to kind of culminate into this spiral that the character is going down, where she wants to just finish this episode and get it done with, while at the same time her co-host is really like,
he's out, man.
Yeah, he's not comfortable with this.
Can we not? And she's like, you gotta. He's like, fine.
Yeah, because like they established earlier in the thing, like if there's someone says, oh, everyone who watched this video died 13 days later, he's like, I'm not watching that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he is a...
That's right. They're talking about this YouTube video. Yeah, and I remember shit like that too. It's very like The Ring coded, which is funny because it's like no one has done it better than the videotape from The Ring.
It kind of culminates into this like final scene where they're both trying to listen to the last audio message while getting phone calls. So they're getting live calls during the recording, and people are calling in and saying really creepy shit that is directly related to this story, directly related to the main character and what she's going through, until eventually someone calls in and they are like, they're saying that, first of all, that their name is Abby. I mean, they don't like, come on.
Abizu.
That's not what we were going to mention, by the way. That's not
what we were going to mention. And it is important that we mention, I think that they pronounce it Abizu. Abizu. It's important to mention because of what we'll talk about later.
Yeah. But anyways, it sounds like this woman who's right about to kill her kids, and they're like, you need help, and we want to talk to you, and please tell us where you are, and blah, blah, blah. But it's like so clearly the demon has like taken over this, this podcast now, and now he's just in the ear of the main character. She gets fully possessed. Her home gets possessed by the demon, and she ends up going upstairs, and there's drawings all over the wall that are resembled of other drawings that we've seen earlier, and drawings that people reference of dead children on the wall, whatever. And she walks upstairs and she goes into her mother's room. Her mother is not in there anymore, and then she actually has this like monologue about how she killed her mom. Like she's like, I killed my mom because I didn't spend time with her. I didn't really get what they were going with that.
Yeah, I don't know. She was like, my mom used to pray for me every night. And then when she got sick, she asked me to pray for her, but I wouldn't. And I would say that I'm too busy. So was it, I was confused by that too. Because like you said, I was like, oh, is this kind of like implying I didn't spend time with her and I just let her rot? Or is it saying, actually in faith, saying I didn't pray for her, and now because I didn't pray for her, she wasn't saved by God's protection, or I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, she definitely holds some guilt for her mom not getting better, you know, and I think that that's definitely a major theme in the movie of, you know, taking care of the elderly and, you know, what that means. And, you know, how do you, like, I don't know, dealing with people who are on hospice care is such a difficult thing, because sometimes it's like you're just waiting for them to die.
Yeah,
a lot of the time, and it sucks, and it's a very tragic and scary thing. But you know, also there's always going to be that certain level of guilt that people feel who take care of people on hospice care, because they can't do anything for them, so it feels like they're letting them die. But you know, they don't have any other choice. So she has this guilt. She talks about it, and then you know, the very end of the movie is she like screams out for her mom, and then it just goes to black. And during this whole sequence too, where the house is starting to get possessed by the demon, and like the lights are going off and the TV is turning on, and the audio in her headphones is coming in and out with the different phone calls and the demon and her friend and like all this different stuff. They have a moment in this where it cuts to black, and all you can just hear crazy shit happening. Mm-hmm. And it was done really well.
It's like, really cool.
Some of it is the character and her trying to talk, and some of it is the audio playing, some of it's the phone call, some of it's a baby crying. And it's really just like, hey, what if this whole movie is about scary audio? What if we just say, fuck it, and we literally do a section of just scary audio? Like, to the point where I was like, you know what? If you have an OLED TV, this would be better to watch at home.
I feel you.
Because, you know, we can still see the light from the screen, you know, in the theater, and you probably will on most TVs, so... yeah, if I had an OLED, bro, I would watch this shit on
that true black,
the true black, and just be pitch black. And honestly, with some headphones would be even better. If you have an OLED 4K monitor at home, you don't listen to this pod.
Then first of all, just donate some money.
Donate some money to the pod. You're clearly filthy rich. But also watch this movie on your computer. That also probably can handle movies and everything else, if you have a 4K OLED monitor. But yeah, so it was a really cool sequence. But yeah, the movie kind of just ends with her, like the insinuation that, yeah, she's been killed by this demon.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool jump scare too. Like it wasn't really a jump scare, but it was a cool scare. She goes upstairs, her mom's not in the bed that she is completely bedridden in, and it turns out she's in the closet behind her, which you can see in the mirror. And then it was just interesting scare, because the mom then walks backwards out to her from the closet, and it was very jagged, weird movement. So it was really cool.
Uncanny Valley.
Valley. There's a couple of Uncanny Valley moments in this movie that worked, but that was really cool. So then it cuts to black, and then it's important to mention too. Now the rundown's over. Like when we could talk about specifics, it's like It's important to remember that, or to mention that the audio that is being played in this final sequence is, there's a lady who calls and says, when I was growing up, my mom was a housekeeper for this family, and there was a day when the family, she tells a story about a mom putting her child in a trash bag and slamming it against the wall, which is a very visceral image to have in your head. So when she's explaining that, you're just like, holy shit. You're already imagining it. And you're like, that's fucking horrible. But then they start playing audio of against the wall.
Right.
And it's so when it cuts to black to end the movie, and you get this final sequence that's all auditory, and you hear the thumping against the wall.
Right. Which they've played thumping throughout the movie without us knowing what that thumping is supposed to represent or be. And so there's a lot in this movie that makes this movie rewatchable.
Yes.
And the rewatchability of this movie is very high, because there's so many little details that you could miss that would make you want to rewatch it. And that's a great one too, is like, yeah, they hear this banging and these audio files of this guy who's like, oh, I'm just trying to record my wife sleep talking, so she'll believe me that she talks in her sleep. And then you hear like this thumping, and you don't know what it is until later, and you find out, oh, it's this, like, you know, not necessarily that she's doing that in this in this audio recording, but that thumping is being put into this audio recording as a representation of this story that this woman tells. This other guy, he calls in and he talks about, he's like, oh, I know who these people are. They were my neighbors. And they're like, wait, what? Are you serious? They're like, yeah. I mean, it's tragic. Now it makes more sense what happened to them. And the co-host is like, what happened to them? And like, they died. The woman killed their child, and then they were both, the husband and wife were found in their basement with bags over their head. And then you get this final sequence where while it's doing that, it cuts to somebody with a bag over their head, gasping for air. It's whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's it's a little cheesy, cheap jump scare, but I like that they did that. I was like, that was a really jarring and visceral,
It
thing.
was. I would have liked it better without an audio cue. If it just flashed on screen, I think that would have been even better. But yeah, I see what you mean in terms of, it's a cheap audio scare, but I kind of like it. I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a bag over the head type of death is always so tragic. I think that shout out to Sinister again. I know I keep bringing up Sinister all the time, but shout out to Sinister because that movie fucking opens with a bunch of people with bags over their heads getting hung.
There are parallels between this and Sinister because you have this structure of this movie of, in this scene, we're going to play some of these audio clips. Stuff's kind of creepy. And then we promise that we're going to play some more in a different part of the movie. And it's very similar with Sinister of him watching those reels of film. And you as an audience member are excited yet terrified to see the next one. I like that structure. I think it works really well for a horror movie, especially too with Sinister also has a very auditory element. The sound of that is so fucking terrifying.
Right.
It's so terrifying, and
the sound design of the music
done.
And the just every in this movie, like we say, it draws parallels to that and in its own special, unique way at the same time. So again, I agree. I think it was really well done. I think that like you said, the last 20 minutes of the movie are so good. And part of it is because we get a lot of this context all at once. We get a lot of this these horror stories being told to us about these people who, worshipped this demon and ended up killing themselves or killing their baby, or their baby died in utero or whatever. It's it's just so harrowing, just such a, heartbreaking, thing, but also being presented in this really terrifying way, And also it kind of reminds me of that book. I can't remember the name of it. There's a book about it was about SIDS. It was about how
Lullaby.
That there was a
Chuck
Palahniuk. Lullaby. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminded me of that too, just this mystical force that's targeting the most vulnerable. Mm. And this woman is in a very vulnerable place. She's very clearly recovering from alcoholism, which I don't know why she has an entire bottle of liquor in her home if she's a recovering alcoholic.
I assumed it was her mom's at some point.
Who gives a shit? If you are in recovery and you are in charge of someone on hospice care, maybe get the alcohol out of the house.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not an alcoholic. I wouldn't fucking know. But I also don't have alcohol in my house right now because I don't drink it.
It's a metaphor. That's my second fault in our story. That's the second one.
Having the thing with the power to kill you and not giving it the power.
Yeah, baby.
Now, I will say, okay, there's some stuff that was done that is very stupid as well. So let's talk about Abizu. Okay.
Abizu.
And this is what me and Dan were talking about. The co-host, they are on a phone call when they do this podcast together.
Yeah.
Okay. They're on a phone call. They're not on a screen sharing thing. I don't understand why they're not, because they're doing active research in the middle of the thing, but whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about their podcast that I'm like, no, this is not how you do it.
That's not how podcasts work.
I loved their logo. It was cool as fuck.
It was cool.
The little eyeball with the sound wave and then it says Undertone. That's cool.
Yeah.
Houndstever.
The name of the podcast was cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
The concept is also very cool.
The concept is great.
Yeah.
But
they don't share a screen with each other while they're on a call together. And I don't like that. And
they go, let's just do this live on the pod. We won't look at any of this beforehand and be prepared. Okay.
Yeah. Me and Dan love to come onto these podcasts and just review movies we haven't seen. But no, it's so that that they're like, save it for the pod. And I'm like, listen, me and Dan walk out of the theater and we talk about some of the things we are talking about right now, right out of the theater.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a behind the scenes for you, because I'm like, hey, I want you to know I'm going to talk about this. Don't let me forget to talk about this. You know, and this is one of the things that he says. It sounds like she's saying, welcome or come in, Abazu. And he's like, I'm looking it up. Yeah, apparently it's like some kind of demon. And then the girl, she has to go look it up now too. So now we're watching her go look it up, and she perfectly spells Abyzou the first time.
Now, we've said this name multiple times in this podcast so far. Have any of you listening to this, have any of you pictured in your head how it's spelled and thought Abyzou? Because if you say yes, you're lying. And fuck you. Because there's no way you get that first try.
And also, if I gave you 10 seconds after I told you, not heard it a bunch of times and us pronounce it. No, I'm saying I just said Abazu for the first time ever, and you immediately have to go look it up. Are you going Abyzou first try?
Yeah.
I'm going Abazoo.
Yeah. I thought it started with I think he said Abizu. I swear that's what I remember him saying, or how pronouncing it. So I was thinking Ebezoo.
Something like that.
So the point is, bro, if what we're saying is no shot she gets that first try. And it's like, if you're making this film, just have her type in whatever she hears phonetically and then have the blue link that says, do you mean? And then she clicks that. That's all you need.
Yeah.
For a little bit of realism.
Just a little bit.
Is it the biggest deal? No. But it is.
But we've seen it in other movies. We've seen other movies do it well, where they,
it's just funny.
Or even just like when you're typing, like, it's okay if they make a mistake or two and have to backspace and then retype it. That never happens in movies like this, man. What's up with that?
I just thought it was funny.
But yeah, I think that the other thing is, you know, when they're doing the like playing audio backwards thing, I feel like okay, so this is why he's a fucking bad co-host, bro. This shit pissed me off. Mm-hmm. If you and I had a horror podcast where we do an audio only horror podcast and we're doing a whole segment on hidden messages in like songs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I play for you, I think it goes, is it? And I'm like, oh my God. And you go, what? I go, you didn't hear that? And you said, no, I didn't hear anything. You go, you're telling me you don't hear that? I heard it. What, motherfucker?
What? You heard what? Yeah, he doesn't.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, he does that throughout this. He doesn't go, it sounds like he's saying blah.
Yeah.
Listen again. No, he just goes, you didn't hear that? Oh, too bad.
First of all, bad co-host. Second of all, bad podcaster.
Bad podcaster, yeah.
Like, if I came onto this podcast and I was like, bro, we just watched this movie, bad. You saw that too, right, Dan? That was bad?
Yeah. Oh, the scene with, bro, you saw that. Bro,
right? No, because the scene that I was talking about.
It would make our jobs way easier.
It really would. If we went here and we said, bro, that scene, for real.
Yo.
Y'all got to check this shit out.
Y'all got to see this shit.
What a bad fucking podcaster. So, yeah, that shit pissed me off.
That was funny.
You don't hear that?
You didn't hear that?
Whatever.
I heard that.
And it's like, he's also the one who did the research. So he's like hidden message in this song. And it's like, people think that they heard blah, 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 blah in this song. Like, that's what you're going to get.
So you're looking at it.
Yeah. And the McGurk effect is very, very real.
Green Needle.
All right. We're getting back into character.
Let's get back into character.
They did that throughout the movie. The two podcasters, when they were getting back on track, they said, let's get back into character. And I was like, you guys are playing characters? I was like, is it you actually do believe everything and he actually doesn't believe everything? You guys are doing a character?
Me and Dave would never.
We would never. We are so authentic for you guys.
To a fault in our stars. That's 3. It's the rule of 3s. I did it. Hazel Grace.
Augustus dies. We're in spoilers talk. I'm allowed to say it.
2011 spoiler.
Fuck you. 2011 spoiler. Anyways, yeah. So these two people, they keep saying, let's get back into character when they're getting back on track in their podcast. Me and Daniel thought was very funny. The other thing that we think is very funny is that to record their episode, they record a little bit of the episode every single day until they're ready to have enough, whatever. And I'm talking, they record for like 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, not even every single day, right? She's like, yeah, well, tomorrow doesn't work. Tuesday,
And then they say new episodes every Friday. I'm like, how the fuck?
That's why I'm like, how? They record.
We can't even get a consistent day.
Yeah, I think
sorry,
Dave is right in terms of the actual time recording in some of these scenes. At least is like 4 to 5 minutes.
And they're like, that's enough for today. Let's pick back up. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I barely did shit.
Are your fucking episodes 15 minutes long?
Yeah.
And you record over the course of 3 days, and that's
like, what is your release schedule? How are you putting out an episode every week?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, this is just.
But I think in the movie, like they imply that it's actually been 20 minutes if you look at the clock, or I don't know, fucking whatever. It was really funny. I was like, how are they putting out episodes at this rate?
Yeah, we record our episode just straight through.
All the way
and
through.
By the way, if the episode is like an hour and a half, we recorded for probably 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And if the episode is 2 hours long, we recorded for 3-4 hours.
Check our uncut Halloween spooktaculars.
That's about how long the podcast usually gets recorded, and those even are a little bit longer because of the games.
Once we start adding games,
but still, like I was just like, how are you guys? If you guys are recording if we record for 3 hours, our episode will maybe be 2 hours long. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are recording for 5 minutes,
right,
is your total podcast 2 minutes long? I don't get it. Anyways,
didn't make any sense.
Didn't make any sense.
Logistically,
as professional podcasters, I can tell you
as the top of the line.
As the top of the line.
Top of the line.
I actually have a podcast studio now.
Oh yes, we have a podcast studio. Yeah, that was really funny. The podcast output didn't make sense. How they were putting any of these out.
And here's another thing that irked me about this movie, because I really do feel like we kind of blew this movie a lot, and we explained what it is that we really liked about this movie. And again, some of it, we can't literally go through everything because you just have to go and listen to the movie, and hear some of these audio recordings. But one of the things I didn't like, and like I said, there's not a lot of good acting in this movie. A lot of it's actually really, really bad. But this is a part of the script that needed to be changed. I don't know who decided that she calls her mom Mama.
Oh, thank God.
But I hated it.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned this. Yes, the main character only refers to her mom as Mama. As in, if she's talking to someone, she's like, well, my mama is like, she says Mama only. And there's even a scene where she is trying to tell her mom, who she does not... Her mama. She does not know if her mom can actually hear her or understand her. So, but she's trying, and she's trying to tell her that she is pregnant now. And she says, hey, mama, I'm going to be a mama, but I don't know if I'm ready to be a mama. She says it 3 times.
And the delivery is terrible, by the way.
Why does she say it like that? It's so strange. But I also have to say that I didn't find the acting that bad in this movie. So we differ on that. But yeah, I just felt like saw Penelope Cruz play a detective, man.
That's also true. Every time she talked to her mom, it felt like she had never talked to this woman in her life, and it just felt so unnatural and just so stiff and like she was reading off of a script. And then the same thing for Justin. A lot of his delivery was like he was reading it as he was doing it for the first time, like he's just reading a script out loud. And maybe they did do that because he is, doing audio only acting, but it's like it was a detriment to the movie for me, because I'm just like, yeah, this line delivery is not good. And the girl, I'm just like, I don't feel like you actually have any emotions for your mom. You're just so stiff and plain, like you're just trying to get the lines out. There's no like chemistry there. There's no, and like I've seen scenes of people talking to people on, deathbeds, people in hospice care, people who are unconscious, and I've just seen it done so much better and much better ways. And there's a particular scene in the movie Twinless, which I watched recently, and I've been telling Dan he needs to watch it because it's going to make him cry. And there's a scene in that movie where someone is talking to no one, and it's the best scene in the movie for me. And so I was just like, when you're sitting there and you're like, Mama, I'm going to be a mama. I don't know if I'm ready to be a mama. I'm like, what, are you talking to her, or are you just talking out loud? Like, where's the emotion? Where's the heartfeltness? Where's the I really think I want you to hear me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I know, like, if it were me, Like if the roles were reversed and it was our mom was talking to me and I was in hospice care, like she would talk to me like I could hear her fully, clearly. She would have a whole conversation with me. You know what I'm saying? And this woman is acting like she's, talking to a brick wall. And I just didn't like it.
That's fair. I just don't think, and I'm not saying the acting was good by any means. I'm just saying I didn't think it was that bad. And I think, especially for, I guess I disagree more heavily on Justin because I thought he was the best actor in the movie. So.
I mean, I think that is true.
There was something,
while also being true that some of his lines sounded like he was reading.
There was something more immersive about him. But I think, too, Justin really does serve as a great... I think that's what helps the movie not feel as claustrophobic since it's taking place in one single location. I think that source to the outside world kind of helps with that, as well as the internet research. It's like, oh, okay, so there's stuff beyond this house, Yeah. But yeah, there was, obviously there's a couple of moments like even like the nurse that she's talking to. I mean, it's very low budget. You can feel it, you can hear it. It's fine. But yeah, I just saw Penelope Cruz. So I'm like you're the opposite. You're like, I just saw Twinless and it was incredible. And the acting in the scene is so good. It's like, well, yeah, so you just saw it's like when we did Wuthering Heights, I was like, oh, I just watched Blue Valentine, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough to compare. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say I personally didn't find it that bad. But you're like, hey, this is one of the worst acting performances I've seen since we started the pod. So
I
just had to make sure.
I stand by it.
Yeah. I'm just like, hey, I disagree, but yeah.
Yeah. But it was one of those things where, and I think about this for a couple of the shots too, and a little bit of like the editing and the coloring and stuff like that. I'm like, as an A24 movie, this is not as high quality of like acting or color grading or whatever as you expect from A24.
Yeah.
If this were a Shudder movie, it would be one of the best Shudder movies ever made.
I've thought that too, dude. I thought that, now the best movie I've ever seen on Shudder, it was called Red Rooms, I believe. Or maybe it's Red Room singular. It's one of the two. It's
not VHS.
It'd be really, really hard to top that movie, but I was thinking that too. I was like, dude, this would be like one of the best Shudder movies ever.
Yeah.
Up there with Caveat.
And I wish Shudder had won the bidding war.
Yeah.
Because that would have been awesome. This would have been a huge win for Shudder.
That would have been a huge win.
And if you want to know how much we love Shudder, go back and listen to our Spooktaculars. We love Shudder.
Us getting a Shudder sponsorship is Matt and Jay playing a show at the Rivoli.
Yeah. That is a reference to Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. One of the best movies of the year. Go check it out. I don't think there's much more that I, really want to dive into, for this movie. I think that we did a good job of it.
Yeah, I mean, I did want to mention, we talked about how it kind of implies something is scary by zooming in on pictures and stuff like that. I actually did think that the best image scare was her having that photo of like a nun or something pulled up on her computer, and it was kind of in the background. Yeah. Like it's not in the background, but it is contextually.
Yeah.
She's just looking behind her and listening for stuff, but then you see that and it's like, whoa, it's a little uneasy. It's reminds me of Sinister when he has that freeze frame of Bagul on his laptop, and of course it does the cheesy thing and moves its head. But yeah, I just there was some stuff that did work with visual horror.
Oh yeah, I mean I think one of the best shots of the movie was this like dream. I guess was it a dream sequence? There are like two dream sequences.
Well, that's what I was about to mention. But we should probably mention there's a couple of dream sequences in this.
Dream sequence.
That dream sequence. Hey, dream sequence. That dream sequence.
And yeah, neither of them are like they're just as dumb as every other dream sequence. But
yeah, they get to do cool stuff and do
more of the audio, whatever, and showing the mom and this weird imagery, but.
But you already have flickering lights and stuff. It's like, why does it have to be a dream? You already have shit happening. It's already supernatural. It's already surreal.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that they weren't very necessary. And again, this movie, despite only being like an hour and a half, I still think was too long. I think it could have been a short film. But I think that what they did well way outweighs what they did poor. And again, just like we said with, Talk to Me and other movies like that, like I will go see these people's next movie, like 100%. Because they did a phenomenal job with this story. And again, they focused on the story, and it was not style over substance. It was substance over style a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? Like they were willing to sacrifice cool, awesome exterior shots for the purpose of let's tell this story and focus on that. And that was done really well. But yeah, one of the best shots in the movie, from a horror perspective, was a shot where, she's looking in a closet and then, on the off screen, or not off screen, in the background while out of focus, her mom starts to like sit up in bed and then like she turns back to her and she's completely still, like when the focus pulls back. And it was done really well.
Yeah, that was done really well. And then that's another one where I was thinking of with Uncanny Valley. Like that one creeped me out. Yeah. Because I was like, oh my God.
And we talk about this when I talk about Halloween all the time, the movie Halloween, about like, I love that very subtle, just in the background, like, the shot of him in the closet is so iconic because it's such good horror and not just, whatever. That creepy, like creeping up on you, like this shadow person, like this type of stuff is so creepy, So Yeah, and the whole use of doorways and hallways and stuff in this movie is just so well done with creating that suspense. I love the scare of her hearing her mother praying. Oh, dude, yeah, that was one of the best
woman who has not spoken a word in this entire movie is doing a full-on prayer. And when she goes to investigate it, she's looking at a completely dark entryway into her room. And that is fucking terrifying. Yeah. For someone who's afraid of the dark, I guess.
I agree. I think it's that on top of the audio and how they did it and hearing this distant thing and at the perfect time in the movie too. If they've done it like 10 minutes earlier, it wouldn't have hit. You know what I'm saying? It's after when you get to this point in the story, in her story and in the story of the audio files that she's listening to, it just adds all this extra element of suspense when she's like walking towards this doorway. And then they actually have her go into the room where there's just enough light where we can see that the person sitting in the bed is not talking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then she turns the lights on and then she's just completely still. She's just breathing. I was like, oh,
because there's like this small sliver of light.
Yeah.
That reveals
that we can
enough.
See, but she wouldn't be able to see her face.
Exactly. I forgot about that. That is important to what makes that so effective to be so scary. That was I liked that because as soon as she turns that light on, it immediately goes to the normal mom struggled breathing. Yeah. That was really good. I thought that was such a good scare. Yeah. I like that.
Also, something to bring up too, they talk about this death rattle and that's how the movie ends.
Oh yeah. It's almost like the Grudge sound. Yeah.
Very kind of heartbreaking too. Yeah. My favorite part of this movie is the scary parts.
The scary ones.
I really like. I actually think that the the subliminal messaging and playing old songs backwards type thing was really done really well and very scary and eerie and it creeped me out. This directional audio while she's listening to this stuff happening on these recordings was done really well. Like all these things that add to the creepiness and scariness of the movie just made the movie so much fun to be a part of and like actually had my heart racing. And then my least favorite part of the movie is the acting. I just think that I actually wrote down a line that I wanted to talk about because I had to learn in my film education and my filmmaking that this is something that amateur filmmakers and student filmmakers write down on a script and it sounds good on a script. And it's a line that I don't feel like anyone has ever performed well. Even you yourself. I've written this line for you and you've not performed it well because it's a bad line.
Okay.
Here's the line. I see. It's something that...
Wait, let me take it again. I see.
You see.
We all see.
Realize. Realizing. Realize.
So I see. What is this? What is it about this line for you?
It is something where it's like you've heard somebody say, I see, after like something.
I see.
But us as in filmmakers and, amateur filmmakers for me, we think that it's a good response to certain things that it's not a good response to. And then every time someone delivers it, it sounds unnatural and unwarranted because it's not how you would respond to that. So this is she gets a call from the doctor and the doctor says, I can't operate on this boy. He's my son. No,
that should be a running bit forever on the pod. That's funny.
No, the doctor says that your pregnancy test came back positive. You're about six weeks pregnant. And she goes, I see.
Yeah.
Isn't that sound awkward? You're pregnant. 6 weeks. I see.
Oh, wow. I don't even remember that.
That sounds really bad, right? I'm not going crazy. Yeah, that's how she delivers that line.
No, I agree. The more I think about it, I don't think I've ever said that to anyone. I don't think
no one has.
And I have a very specific way of talking, of course, coming from such a southern part of the country, but also living in the city part of that. So yeah, if someone says something to me, I'm gonna be like, okay, I got you, I get you. But even then,
I noticed that a long time ago, and I had to like train myself. Like, hey, don't ever write this in a script again, bro. Like it sounds good on paper, but it never goes well on screen. Dan, I'm gonna ask you a random question.
Okay? Shoot.
I'm going to do a part 1 trivia pop quiz for Daniel. What to you? And this is for you.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
See, it doesn't. See how it doesn't ever work. You see how it doesn't ever work.
Let me think about this forever. If I ever hear that in a movie, I'm going to immediately clock it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you are, and that's me to cutting to black. You know what I'm saying? Like it's part of this education. It's like fuck. Now I see it every time. Yeah. Anyways,
that's like me with like that is me with some stuff. I remember writing a script that makes me cringe, which is kind of adorable in a way. Like sometimes cringe is not always a bad thing. It's like kind of endearing. But yeah, I remember writing I wrote a script about a guy who experienced really bad insomnia and his mind started to go. He started to lose his mind because of it, and I made his last name Peels, which is sleep backwards. And I was like, this is genius. That's why in this movie, when the lady calls in and says, my name is Abby, I'm like, I'm already clocking your shit, motherfucker. You thought you were clever. I used to do that too.
Yeah.
But
so Dan, just throwing this out there, again, this is for you. What is your favorite part of the movie? Mm-hmm. And then if you have time, least favorite part.
I gotta take a break. Can we let's record tomorrow?
Okay, we're gonna do this.
We'll pick back up tomorrow.
I can't do tomorrow. Sunday.
Sunday scaries. My favorite part of the movie is the entire thought of what if we made a movie that was more about the audio than the visuals, and trying to get horror out of that. The way that they handled it was awesome. It was very creative, very new. Even with all of our critiques of this movie and our criticisms, I still think that they did a fantastic job with it. And it is very new. It's a fresh voice. It's a fresh perspective on horror. I think it was such a cool, awesome idea and experiment, and it worked out well. And my least favorite part of the movie, the one that drove me the most crazy, was the mama thing.
Mama!
Daddy!
Long legs should be in every horror movie.
Long legs should be in every horror. We're petitioning for that.
Sorry, every movie, because we wanted him in The Bride too.
Oh my god, yes. My least favorite part of the movie as a whole was that, but I thought that a lot of the non-horror parts of the movie, where it's just kind of drama, fell flat.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's budgetary, because the idea of a character having to deal with all this stuff that makes sense. It's like that's a part of that's a good script. To have so many things weighing down on this main character that make her start to kind of lose her control of reality. But
her being pregnant is like super important to this story.
Yeah.
It really is.
Like that whole scene of her going to that party that her boyfriend is throwing, like that whole sequence, I was just so bored by.
Yeah.
There was something so stale and dull about it. And
watching her make tea for the second time.
Yeah, like there are all these moments, and even some of the moments with her and her mom. Like, and part of that is like, okay, cool. And then the painting falls a little bit to the side, and then it just keeps zooming in on the painting. I'm like, what is this intending to do? It just really fell flat. It makes you appreciate the highest of art forms for horror, where some of the stuff that's not horror is the best part of the movie. The drama, the characters, the way they interact, the stuff that feels like it has stakes, the believability. It's so hard to do. So I don't think that it's too bad in this movie, because it's really hard to do anyways, but it was my least favorite part of the movie, was the non-horror scenes.
Yeah. This one the more and more I think about the movie, the more I really do believe that the rewatchability is super high for this one. I would love to see this one again. I would love to watch it at home as well. That would be like a different type of experience.
Definitely.
And again, I might even watch it on my computer and put my headphones on and watch the movie, because I think that would be a whole nother level of immersion for this movie.
You bold, bro.
Yeah, that would be really fucking scary to do. But yeah, I mean, especially like in this studio, you know, in this office space that we have, you know, we can turn the lights off and it would get real fucking dark in here.
Woo.
You know,
yeah,
because we have no like overhead lights and yeah. Anyways, point is that I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10, closer to a 7 than a 5.
I am going to be pretty boring here. I'm also giving this a 6 out of 10, but it is closer to a 5 than a 7.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. We don't have time for a part 2, unfortunately. But we will be back. So Daniel's birthday is coming up. So we're going to have to take a little bit of a break for Daniel's birthday.
I forgot.
So we're going to be on break, but then we will come back after that and, you know, give some more reviews for you guys. So we appreciate your patience with us and we appreciate your support. In the meantime, if you're like, what am I going to do? No episode. Oh, they never announce when they're doing no episode. You know, they just don't do it and they don't tell anyone. Yeah, well, it's because no one listens to this podcast. But if you are listening and you're like, what do I do? Go listen to every other episode in the meantime. And then tell all your friends and make all your friends listen. If you want to get involved in the conversation, let us know what you thought about this movie. If you went to go see it, let us know what you thought of this episode. You can reach us at Wild Dream Pod on Instagram and TikTok. You can also come watch us stream live. You can watch us stream video games, horror video games, shooter video games, friend slap video games. It don't matter what game we're playing, because it's going to be us and we're going to be goofy. We're going to be silly. We're going to be fun. We're going to be funny. We're going to be entertaining. We're going to give you guys all the goodies that you need. And if you're like, you know what, I don't have time to watch you guys live. I'm always working. I'm always busy. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. I don't have time, you know, to watch when you guys are live. Well, head over to the YouTube channel and watch the VODs after they've already been released. That's still a great way to help and support.
It sure is. Go comment.
Get all
the
content. And if you like the content, awesome. Comment it on it. Like it. It helps. We are at Wild Dream Stream on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. We got to have a company meeting about the Instagram. But as for right now, Instagram still on the table. But until next time, we love you. We kiss you. Good night.
Good night.